Just 2 more minutes, please.
بيطلعوا على الهواء فكمان المشكلة يسجلون
أي محطة؟
هلا بيحب تسجيل بس يعني عند اليهود
33
مش يعني هم بتوع عندهم أنا ما بعرف بالضبط.
لا يا فندم ده عملت الفيديو طردت
Hello, my friend. Can we begin?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So first of all, the camera is a bit high. Okay, yes, now we can see you a lot better, and I hope we won't be having noise in the background.
في دوشة يا أخوة.
I'll start recording. We are already live on YouTube. Okay, so now, if you will allow me, I will introduce you shortly, okay, and I will introduce the topic as well.
Yes, sir.
We will start a conversation. I think it won't be boring, okay?
Yes.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is a great honor to be here tonight for this special event, the launch of our book, Unity of the Believers. This book is more than just a collaboration. It is a shared vision for a future where faith is not a source of division, but a foundation for unity and reconciliation. I am especially grateful to be joined tonight by my co-author, Elias Baabon, a Palestinian leader and intellectual. Elias brings with him a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities of interfaith dialogue, and it has been a privilege to work together to shape a message that we believe can inspire real change. In a region often defined by conflict, we are here to discuss a different path, one that is rooted in the common spiritual heritage of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Unity of the Believers seeks to bridge divides, break down misconceptions, and offer a framework for peace that is deeply connected to faith and tradition. I also want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitudes to Keren Orpaz and Rachel Kessel for the dedication in translating this event to Hebrew and preparing the subtitles for this discussion, ensuring that our message reaches as many people as possible. Tonight, we will explore some of the key themes of the book, share personal insights, and most importantly, engage with you, the audience, in an open and meaningful conversation. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's begin. First of all, I would like to share, just for illustration, the webpage of Unity of the Believers. For now exists only in Hebrew as a digital book and an audio book in Hebrew on the website Ivrit. And it's a short book, we should say that. It's more of a booklet, and we hope and believe that it will be translated and published in English and Arabic as well, and hopefully more languages. Elias, would you like to start first of all? I will ask you a tricky question.
Yes, please. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So how would you define your religion?
Actually, my religion is a Muslim because, you know, we have to define what is the Muslims. If we are saying that the Muslims was found from the time of Adam and from the time of Prophet Abraham. So Prophet Muhammad was not the first one who bring the Islam. Sorry for this one, how stupid it was. So we are happy to say that we are all Muslims. Yes, please.
So please try to explain to our viewers who are not familiar with this other interpretation or meaning of Islam, because for I think most of our viewers, Islam is a religion that started with Prophet Muhammad and with the Quran, and you were born as a Christian.
Yes.
But today you considered yourself a Muslim, and I don't think that you lost your Christian identity.
Yes.
So, and I think that also, in many ways, you also gained a Jewish identity. Correct me if
It's original. It is my origin one, because Christians believe in the first section of the Bible, the old version of the Torah is for us. So all of these books are related to something common, which is the Islam. So I am happy to say that I am Muslim, that I trust in one God, who are the creator for this whole universe. So according to Quran, prophets all are Muslims. And there is important that event in the Temple Mount, which comes from the Isra wal Mi'raj event, a special journey that Muhammad had traveled or faxed from Mecca, Medina, he comes to Jerusalem. And all the prophets were in the Temple Mount there praying. And he was the Imam for them, which means the Temple Mount is not limited just for certain point of people. It is open for all the people. It is a holy place for all. And the reason why Prophet Muhammad was bringing the other nations and other faiths, because he think that it must be there, all the nations, all the religious people. So this is the question, why many people preventing Christians and Jewish to be at the Temple Mount.
So we will discuss the Temple Mount, but before we go over there, let's stay a little about religious identity, because I'm sure that for 99.9% of the people, what you're saying now, or most of them, is extremely confusing. Because so let's try to untangle the confusion, okay? So first of all, let's speak facts, okay? In the Quran, so Ibrahim is considered Muslim.
Yes.
Even that he was born, he died before the Quran arrived and before the time of Muhammad, okay?
For sure.
So what you're saying is that, let's say people know the common interpretation, a Muslim is someone who follows the prophecy of Muhammad alone and the Quran. But what you're suggesting is another interpretation of the word Muslim, and I must say that you're not the only one who's suggesting it, yes? You're suggesting that the word Muslim really refers to monotheistic.
Sure. Yes, this is the real cause or name for what is the Islam is. So I believe all the prophets are Muslims, and Inna ad-dina inda Allah al-Islam, which means the religion was in the old times is Islam, which means, as you mentioned, one trusted God. So this is the right decision that the people has to know. I think many people, they don't know exactly their own books. So they don't know for sure the other people books. So anyone who dig slowly in the book, first in his book, then he can transfer to other people's books, then he will discover there is no big changes there. It is the same.
But still people are confused, so let's be very basic, okay?
For sure, I am ready.
So in your interpretation, in your definition, Christians are also Muslims?
For sure, because they trust in one God.
So Jews are also Muslims?
Also, for sure, nobody can say nothing. Because in the Bible, no, in the Quran, it is full about Moses, Ishaq, Israel, everyone, and even in Jesus. And it is for the first time, you don't, maybe you cannot imagine that the wrong idea about Christianity and Jewish people, they think they are very near, the Christians, to the Jewish people. But in the fact, there is a big relation more and more between Muslims and Jews, and they are cousins.
And also, of course, you should say that both religions have rules about eating halal or kosher, and both religions are very, I would say very extreme about the idea of one God, which is just that Jesus cannot be the Son of God, as the Christians say, or being divine, so to speak, but only a prophet, as Islam consider him, for example. So, first of all, for our crowd that is still confused, while most of the world consider the division between religions, okay, as if there is, of course, there's also Buddhism and Hinduism, but we're talking about the monotheistic religions.
Yeah.
So most people would describe the division as there are Christians, Muslims, and Jews, and Muslims are divided to Sunni, Shia, Ahmadi, Alawi, and more. And Christians are divided to Protestants, Catholic, and Jews are also divided. But this is, they would describe it as three different religions. And you, looking at the same situation, at the same reality, but you describe it in a different way. And you say the meaning, the original meaning of Islam, which is even older than Quran, is a monotheistic religion which is basic, which believes in one God and wants the natural justice, so to speak. And and it's divided to Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Christian Muslims, and Jew Muslims, and maybe Druze Muslims and Siba Muslims and some more groups. Is it correct?
Yeah, actually, it is first of all Muslims then to be divided, not dividing it into Islam. So the most important that is the Islam. Why it is like this? As I told you, in the Quran said, Inna dina inda Allah al-Islam, which means God just seeing Islam, don't seeing anything. You can see by modern life and even anywhere, there is a law that regulate the lives of people according ethics, something like that. So you can see that those laws are not stable even in the modern life. So they amend them, so they update them, so they changing to it to meet the current challenges in that time. So why there is a lot of books? Because they are went for the people in several stages to meet many times and many occasions. So there is one religion with different laws, which mean that Sharia, we have to know what is the difference between religion and Sharia.
Okay. So explain it, please.
Sharia is the law. So the faith there is Islam. But first of all, it comes the law, which means Jewish are Muslims in faith or religious, but they are following Sharia Muslims, Jewish Muslims.
Jewish Sharia.
Jewish Sharia, Jewish law.
Yes.
But after a while, Christians has the new book, so they are Muslims, but according to a Christian law.
I just want to add over here that also in the Quran, there's a part where the disciples of Jesus, the people who follow Jesus, Isa, they when they speak, they say we are Muslims, and of course they are Christians. So the Quran is very systematic in I would say that it's very obvious that the original term Muslim in the Quran means monotheistic, because they refer to the Jews and to the Christians and to Abraham and to Adam as Muslims. So basically you're taking this interpretation, but it's not only a matter of words, because the meaning and the implications are deeper. So do you want to explain what do you think this will achieve if people will start speaking in your terms?
Actually, first of all, I am asking the people to visit the books so they can start understand what I mean with Sharia and religion, because Sharia is the law. So you can see by the legal laws that they refer it to a date, a certain date, that the law is about the 2000 year, it was issued in 2000. but they changed it in 2005. So on, those books are the same law, but are updated to meet the needs during the whole universe time. So it is all what we say it is the common Islam. So if there are 3 different books and we now try to take what is common from them to make a one unified book, we are stupid. Why we need to make this effort while it was done 1,400 years ago? The Quran has the minimum sentences that are agreed in the 3 books. So the Quran, if we follow the Quran, it is enough for Jewish to have the most standard basic issues as the same to need for Christians, and so it is enough for the Muslims themselves.
So you're also suggesting a tweak, a magic tweak, basically, that no one has to really give up on something substantial, but we only change the words. And then we say to the Muslims, look, we are all Muslims. Muslims, Jews, some Muslims are Jews, some Muslims, they don't follow the Quran, they don't supposed to follow the Quran to consider Muslims, it's okay, okay? And we basically, we are tweaking the words, okay? With changing the perception of the people, and we don't have to change anything else. That is the way that you're suggesting.
Actually, there is a 2 major category for the people from all the region, religious people, especially now we are talking about Muslims gathering. Those who are scholars who know the books and the normal ones. So our peace initiative are targeting those Muslims from both types. So first of all, if we are talking about those who knows the Islam, we can argue them by the books, by the chapters, by the things and like that. So this is good. But
Wait,
normal people.
can you please stop a minute, because I think it's an important point, because I think most of the Israeli crowd is now very surprised, because obviously most people haven't read the Quran, and of course there are hadith, there are many, but we were told basically what Israelis know is that the Quran is against them, and the Quran is something that they should beware of, because it says that they are kafir or they're heretics and they should be killed, etc. But you're saying that the Quran can offer solutions. So please try to elaborate.
Actually, most of the Quran, if you study it, it is a good behavior, good morals, and it is with the big tolerance for all the other nations and for all those who are not Muslims. But during the past wars, not just the modern one, or the others in the history, many was using their ambitions, their personal interest, they hiding the cause for their ambitions as a religious issue. So most of the people think that it is a religious war or a Islamic war against anyone who are not Muslim. But it is not the reality. This is a stupid one who would believe in that because he didn't know, he don't read, he don't understand. He get the bad, wrong information either from modern media or from old history books that shows the other side of reality.
So first of all, I should say that this dialogue is really parallel to the content of the book, Unity of the Believers, that we just published. And many of the ideas are detailed in the book, but we also, over here, we have a kind of a different conversation than the book itself. I would like to, first of all, if someone from the crowd wants to ask questions, because I think that things are very confusing for most Israelis, please raise your hands or write on the chat. But first of all, please try to give an example from the Quran. We have many of them in the book. You can use some of them. To what you claimed before, because most Israelis, most Jews, they only know or they know about Khaybar, for example. I'm giving an example, okay? And their interpretation for Khaybar is similar to the interpretation of radical Islam, which says that Khaybar was a religious war against the Jews, and it's a part of the Muslim way or Muhammad's way to kill the Jews. So can you argue from the Quran otherwise?
For sure. Actually, it was written, إِذَا جَنَحُوا لِلسَّلَامِ فَاجْنَحْ لَهَا, which means if the other side of your enemy or your neighbors or you are asking for peace, so you can go for it. Why you are making war while the other are safe people or kind neighbors? And actually, Prophet Muhammad has asked to take care for the 7th number of your neighbors, not just the near neighbor, but you have to go over the 7th stage neighbor. So I see that Arabs and Muslims and Israel, they are one nation, one neighbor, and the same issues, which mean the war, it is not a religious instead of a civil war.
That's a powerful statement. So basically, again, as well as you do with your religious perception, you're describing, let's call it the Holy Land, okay? You're describing it not as a battle between Israel to Palestine. You're describing it as one entity with a civil war.
For sure. But they misuse it and they misinform us before. And there was always here Jewish people before 48. The Western Wall was always there. The Jewish quarter was always there. Everywhere were Jewish people. In the Mecca, Medina, also most of the Jewish people was there. And Christians are in middle between Jews and Muslims. And Prophet Muhammad has accepted and host Christians to be praying in his mosque.
And Jews as well.
So if they allow for the Christians with the big argument about the Trinity, so what about the Jewish people who has no question about the Trinity of Son of God? Which means there is no real reason, rather the personal ambition that they cover for those who are poor, stupid, or don't read the book or the other books. So this will benefit from those people who are stupid, blind people. So they follow their leaders, even the leaders are either political or religious leaders, in a wrong way. But if I am a clever one, stop, I need to read, I need to understand, I need to compare, I need to analyze and to see. For sure, there is some sort of bad issues in all the books, but they are just a little, and we cannot focus on those, and the majority is very good. So why we are focusing just for little short issues that are the bad, and we forget the bad issues.
الله يكرمك حبيبنا بس
لو سمحتوا يا شباب.
Okay, so I would like to go back, okay, because maybe we haven't spoke about it, but you were born as a Christian, okay?
Yes, I am proud to be Christian.
Yes, but today you describe yourself as Muslim, and it's not that you exactly in the traditional way converted from Christianity to Islam. Actually, you call yourself Muslim, but I, for a long time, I'm calling you an Abrahamic because you embrace all three religions. So
Actually, we can say Abrahamic, but due the misunderstanding for this term, so it was bad using the Abrahamic term or definition. First of all, if anybody or any normal Muslim, if tell him about Abraham, they think that you are going to bring him to Jewish place, first of all. Second, the Abrahamic Accord that the Americans are trying with the deal of the century, they had a bad reputation among the people. So if you are trying to convince him that this is the Abrahamic way, it is not an easy way to convince them if you use the term Islam.
because you're saying they already consider themselves Muslims, so you just describe the same idea, but you're using their terms so they don't argue, basically.
And first of all, why am I embarrassed to tell that I am Muslim? Many times they show that Islam is a bad thing. So by nature, we think that if you are a Muslim, you are a devil. No, if I am a Muslim, I have ethics, morals, regulations that I follow, not to aggressive any neighbor, any other people, any other things. And I hope that all my neighbors are Muslims and real Muslims, not just Muslim by name. A real Muslims who follow the instructions in the books, which is in his books. So I remember when an old, I think, Yugoslav person is a Christian who went to, or he has a house among Muslims in the camp. Many times they ask him, why you are going among those Muslims? They will kill you. They will throw you stones and they take your land. He tell, I trusted if they are real Muslims. If they are real Muslims, they will not throw me stones. They are not taking my land. They have to take care for me, because they are making against the laws, or they are making against the rules they have. So not all who are namely Muslims are real Muslims. Even those who has Muslims, really Muslims, some of them drink alcohols, and some of them are eating pig meats, and they call us, they are still Muslims. So Muslims is a real magic word that can you use it in different way, either to have war or to have peace. So if we are clever, we try to look in the real issues rather to accept the informations from bad resources.
Okay. So that's I think that was a very powerful statement. But let's go back, because your personal story really matters, I think. And you grew up as a Christian, but at some point you started acting as a Jew, as a Christian, and then as a Muslim parallelly. What made you do that? How did it started?
Actually, as I told you, when we are young children, they tell us about Torah, Mazamir.
As Muslims?
No, Christians before.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So it was learned also in the schools. So the old books are related originally in the Bible. And we start learning the Christianity by schools. But actually, the religious class is something not as important in education. So always it is the final class at the day of the class, the students. And it is sometimes the teachers are absent. Sometimes they tell you, Khalas, it is finished, you can go home. No, nobody, this is a religion issue. So they don't give the real attention for the education in religion. So I start to understand what is the problem. The most problem is in Christianity, the Trinity, which means that Jesus is the Son of the God, and the story of the Mary, how she become pregnant without marriage. And this certain point, the Muslims are very much respecting this idea, and they said it is not a person or son of God. So they tell that he is a good messenger, a good prophet, or good something like that. Not a son of the God. And as you said in a logical way, they try in the past to let us know what is the Trinity. Until today, nobody can show it to you. It is a big secret. And I remember they told us a certain way when a real Christian secular person who studied the Trinity was thinking in it a lot. He invested a lot of time or effort to it until sometime in the coast very near to the sea. He see a young boy who go to the sea with the kettle, fill it with water, run again, and making a small hole and pour the water in the sand, and goes again to the sea and back to the hole. This prophet man asked him, "What you are doing?" He tell him, "I need to bring all those water in the sea to put it in this hole." He tell him, "Yeah, you are stupid. You cannot bring the whole water in this small hole." He tell him, "You are the stupid one because you need to understand what is the Trinity. The Trinity is something big, something secret. Imagine your brain is the small one. You cannot understand it. For that, it is always a mystery to understand the Trinity."
But if we speak about your personal experience, that was when you were in school. But if we will jump, I think 30 or 35 years ahead, you are in the old city of Jerusalem with a yarmulke on your head and tefillin in your arm, and a old Jewish woman is passing by, and you are calling her Ima.
Sure.
And then things started to be very interesting, but also it's very interesting how did you, as someone who was born a Christian and today considered himself Muslim, is in this situation of being with the yarmulke and tefillin and calling a Jewish woman Ima and having to confront the Muslims that are telling him off. So maybe explain to us, first of all, how did you get to this situation and what happened over there?
Actually, as I tell you, as the main question of the Trinity was in my mind from my childhood, it continued with me to discover, to try to understand, to try to. I had passed on the Bible several times. The same for the Torah, the same for the Quran. And I started some spare time to understand what. As I was busy in education for more than 40 years, I was not focusing on this issue too much. But as the school where I was working was stopped due to the corona issue, and for some reason, I quite be with spare time. So I started to go to Jerusalem to understand the situation, how it is going in the old city of Jerusalem. First of all, I tried to go to the central mosque in the Temple Mount. There are two major campuses there. There is Masjid al-Aqsa and Masjid Qubbat al-Sakhra. And these are the two confusion issue. The people don't understand what is the difference between them. One of the confusion is that anytime they tell you this is the Masjid al-Aqsa, they show you the golden tomb of this Pentagon issue. Why Masjid al-Aqsa is a Masjid al-Qibli, who are the old one there. So I try to understand first the geographical issue in the place. Then I start to visit it to see how the prayers are there for Muslims. I see the time division for the time that the Jewish can pass and travel and go inside from certain door. I see the security, how they are managed by the Jordanian Waqf and the Israeli military police. So I start, for more than 2 years, I was daily there to understand. So little by little, I was using the social media to let the people see me, what I am doing there.
Explain, please.
So as I go little by little for the mosque, I take photos as a visitor first. It takes me too much time. Every dose, small dose, every while, which means that as a drug to give it to the sick people. It is a poison drug, but you can give it to anyone little by little, he will not die. If you give it a surge one time, he will die. So I prefer to take too much time to convince the people. Little by little, I was trying to show some praying method of Islam in the mosque. But if you dig in the books, these issues are a Jewish issue originally. So most of the people think that if you make some sort of movement, this is just for Muslims. This is also for Christians and for Jewish people. You can go to the ground, you can go up, you can make some those issues. Those movements originally are Jewish. So I try to make it as a Muslim. So any normal person who see it, he was very angry because he thinks that I move from Christianity to Muslims.
You're talking about your friends on the social networks who are Christians from your community.
Yeah. So I don't accept it, but I was brave because I know where I have to go. So I insist to go there everywhere, until they believe that I am become a real Muslim. And most of the Muslims are happy. They gain a new, well-educated person that he convinced that the real book is the Islam, the Quran. Suddenly, I start to move to the King David tomb. Little by little, I goes there, I make the kippah, I visit there, I make the kaza.
Wait. You put the kippah.
Yes, I put the kippah and the Hanukkah. I take photos with the Hanukkah. And many times I go to the library inside the King David tomb. I take a big Torah. I was trying to show that I am reading in it. Even it is in Hebrew or in a certain Hebrew difficult religious issue, but I was following the lines with the photos. And take a lot of photos inside the King David tomb. It was really shock for them to understand why I am going there. I tell him, if you accept that I move from Christians to Muslims, you are happy. Why now you are against me to go back to Jewish? So they are trapped. Due to the security reasons, it is very difficult to travel and visit the Western world. As I have a special permit, elite permit to go to Israel, Jerusalem, I try to convince the security people to let me in. Little by little, I was traveling and visiting the Western world. In the yard, not very direct there to the wall itself. And many times I see soldiers, Jewish soldiers, they come there and they pray and they have their own flag. So I was always among them and among the flag. I tried to go to the direct wall, certain special area. It was seemed the people are angry because I don't have the kippah. So I don't know where am I to bring the kippah. There is a certain place that you can find the kippah. Little by little I go until I come to directly to the wall. I take photos that I am praying as a Jew on the wall with the kippah. And now the Muslims are very angry. But nobody remembered that the Pope has visiting the Western Wall, and normally the Pope has his own white kippah. Why now you are angry? So they are also, don't understand. But I go, but after a little, I don't go just to the Western Wall. I come back to the church.
In the same,
Then I come back to the mosque, then back to the church, to the synagogue. So I mixed it until they are confused. What you are? I tell them I am a Muslim. So I am a Muslim with my definition for the Muslims. But they are thinking, no, it is a confusion. Until I go inside the place in Jerusalem, there is a synagogue inside, very deeply inside. I went there, I take a photo. I was taking a book from the library. I see in the library. I tried to take a lot of photo until a religious Jewish priest, Chacham, tell you, oh, this is not too much. Khalas, enough. Go, khalas. You don't take too much. He was angry because I take a lot of photos. And actually, I was always alone. So I can ask the other visitors to take me photos because I cannot bring any other one with me. Now, little by little, the people are quite khalas. They
Gave up on you.
they don't they give up. So I started to reach out more and more people. So I was in Jerusalem in Ramadan, trying to work with my NGO in Jerusalem and try to see the people there. And I see also Muslims comes from the finishing of the Taraweeh prayers in Ramadan. And I see a Jewish woman, I tell her, hello, ma'am, you are fine, you are my Ima. And they heard me. The people who are around me
The prayer.
and the prayers. And they were angry because I tell her Ima. So I started to, I was intention to let them, to bring their attention. I make it, I cause this problem. So the crowd becomes more and more. And I was,
They were angry at you.
yes. I tell him, yeah, it is my Ima because there is no, I am Muslim, she are Muslim also. And they are not, she is not Muslim, she are our enemy. And little by little, I try to convince them by logic, by chapter, by book, by something like that. And a certain sheikh arrived.
But what did you claim from the book?
I tell him, Inna ad-dina 'inda Allah al-Islam. I tell these stories, something like that. And Abraham was ما كان مسلما ولا مسيحيا بل كان مسلما حنيفا. So they are confused.
So you explained it the way you explained it to us before. Okay.
Whenever it needed, I use it.
Mhm.
So, they are normal persons, they are not well educated, they have the wrong information, they are very extreme because in Jerusalem, if you know, due to the intention in Jerusalem, it is quite strange that you can see Gazans in Gaza may understand me very fast and accept me faster than those who are in Jerusalem, who live with the Israelis.
You mean that the Eastern Jerusalems are more extreme?
Yes, because they are fed too much against these ideas. So I try to hit them too much until I tell you this sheikh come. They ask him, look, this stupid man said, Jewish woman is a Muslim woman. What you say?
The crowd asked the sheikh.
Yes. And they pretend to make me stupid, and they try to stop me in a way that they criticize me. And I was very stable and try to convince him and to show them. He comes, the sheikh, and said, no, I am not saying Jews are Muslims. I trusting just Moses as a prophet of Jewish as a Muslim.
Only Moses.
Only Moses. Tell him, what about the followers? He said, no, they are enemy, pigs, something like that. But it is not finished because he was also trapped. He went out. But the other crowded people are still there. Until a young boy, he knows a very well-known educator woman in Islam who lives, I think, in Egypt.
A Sunni scholar.
Yes. He tell her, look, this is a stupid one who tell that this. Actually, he was making the loudspeaker to hear from the telephone. But when she started to speak to him, he went away and lowered the voices. And she
Lowered the voice.
lowered the voice. And I see his face, he started to be changed. And I think she advised him that this stupid man you think is very clever. You are the stupid. He's right. He is good. You have to trust him. So he come back, and as soon as he finish again to the crowd, I don't embarrass him. I tell him, Khalas, finish. We are getting the argument to the end, but I am free to do what I like, but I understand that Jewish are Muslims. I will never change it. I trust it. I know it. I believe in it. I can die for it. So still now, we need to convince the Jewish people to be proud to tell we are Muslims.
Because
If,
because
yeah.
part of your idea is that by itself, only the change of the term. I mean, you're not saying the Jews should start following Quran. You're not saying the Jews should change the way that they worship or believe God. You're saying Jews should only agree to change the name. And you know what? I think that it's also something that is very similar to what Druze and Alawis have done over the years, because those two religions are separated from Islam. They have different code than the Quran, but they also consider themselves a part of Islam, and that creates a sense of I would say it creates something against enmity.
Yeah, it is sure. Also, in addition, as I told you before, the minimum, I ask a religious secular Jew person, I tell him, are those information that to be found in Quran is sufficient for the Jewish people? He agree. The information, the story, the method, everything. So even if the Jewish people also, beside the using the name, they can trust the chapters, the phrases, the something written about the Jewish in Quran, because there is no any introduction between them and their other books.
Okay, so give an example, please, for something that is written in the Quran that you believe that Jews should.
You mentioned the pig issue. There is no, they don't eat meat of the pig. This is common with the Jewish and Muslims. Actually, I made in my certain study a full comparison between the three books, and I find every chapter, every phrase, every paragraph, every line, you can find for it in the three books, either cut and paste or in the same meaning. So I am not telling you that I have to read all the book. There is a big, people have to go there to inspect by themselves that the certain issue are equal and the same, even some sort of changing the phrase of the issue. So you can see that if we tell the wrong information also, it is also with the Christians, with the Jewish people. For example, Jewish people making mistakes that they think they are the chosen people for God. So they taking this phrase without looking to the other people's books. If you dig in the books, you see that God tell the Christians, you are my nation, the preferred, you are the good nation that you are belonging to me. And he said for Muslims the same, and he said it also for the Jewish. It is not limited also for Jewish. So if you are certain honest with the three books, you have to say all the reality, all the facts as it is, not to be biased for one. So nobody can understand deeply until he see, inspect, and decide there is no big differences between them. The bad issue in Quran, we have 2 points, bad and good. Let us start with the bad one. The bad phrase is that in a certain time, that even if the Jews are hiding against a stone or something, a tree, the stone said, come here, kill the Jewish person, he is here. This was written there. This is the good. If we agree it is there, first of all, if we are give up with it, we say, this was known for 1,446 years ago, and nobody knows when it will occur. So why I have to live 1,000 years in aggressive way with the Jewish and Muslims, and we don't know when the time this will happen. So we can, if that's fixed, we can take a ceasefire for 1 year, 1 week, 1 day, one century. And what it happened, happened. And if it happened, happened.
If the rock will speak, we will deal with it.
But also in Quran, which is not found in all the other books, الناسخ والمنسوخ. الناسخ والمنسوخ, which mean sometimes there is introductions between the paragraph in Quran. if you make a critical comparison, so you say here, يعني for example, مكتوب لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى, which means you cannot go to pray when you are drunk. So if you take لا تقربوا الصلاة, if you take the phrase don't go to pray without continuing the phrase, it is against the issue, whole issue, because he asking you don't to pray. You have to see it as a big phrase. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنْتُمْ سَكَارَى, which means you can also drink the whole day, but at the end of the time of the prayer, you can go without drinking and you can make prayers and will be accepted.
So what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, is that this part about the rock and the trees that they will say he is a Jew, killed a Jew, it can also be interpreted on the other way, meaning you are not allowed to kill the Jew unless the rocks are telling you.
For sure, for sure. There is a timing there. There is a timing. You are making very early without instruction to do it. Second, we come to the story of Nasikh wa Mansukh, which means in Quran has a unique way that a certain paragraph or a certain line or a certain chapter can be updated with a new text.
Ijtihad?
No, even not ijtihad also. Even the Quran itself, sometimes at the beginning he says something. Later on has said another issue in a contradiction.
Mecca and Medina, like the early surahs and the later surahs.
So yes, so it is a timing, it related to the time. So if anyone was very deep studying, he will confusion, because here he said yes, he said no, or something like that. But the secret is, during the process of the Prophet Muhammad, he used it either also gradually. So, like I did it, I learned from him. If I starting to publish and reach out my plan directly, nobody, maybe they kill me, but little by little, he will produce and fix it. So he or God who tell him to say like this, he give it to him little by little, and it changes. And it finally reach us like this. So if you see it in the beginning, it is quite different from the last sentences. Why? What was that by the Quran? It is nasikh wa mansukh, which means a new phrase had erased the old one, and here is the new updated one. It is confirmed by God. For that, if somebody has in his mind, in his memory, the Quran, you have to write it. So it was written, the Quran, because they find that most of the Muslims are dying. So in certain time of Quran, they write it, not just memorizing it. So if you list, you can see in normal life, if you prepare a paper here, after a few days, you have to change it, because it is something that change. So what about a regulation for people it is very difficult to make regulations for people. For example, the marriage. Before, the Arabs have marriages, too many, and they have وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكَ, which means even the servant, you can use it as your wife. So Islam was found to regulate social, personal interest for the people. So they allowed him just to be married. So they regulate. The Islam is regulating the social life of the people, the heritage, how you can divide the heritage of the man. So if I go to a certain Iceland with the stupid people, they don't see modern life ever, I use the book of Islam. Even I am Christian, I will let them understand the morals, the regulations for Islam, because this is to regulate lives between each other. So we need a regulation. Whatever else it was, good, bad, but we need regulation to regulate our life. So if it is the Quran, and it is logically can understand it is a human issue, why I don't follow it? Is because also it is the same what is written in my book, and it is the same خلينا نقول similar issue. It is a filtration. The Quran is the filtration common issue between the three books. So it is ready.
Because
Why I have to?
Because the Quran recognized the Torah and the new convent.
Yes, and now we arrive to Ahl al-Kitab.
Okay, let's speak about al-Kitab.
Because as the Jewish in the past was very deep in the religion, they know. So Muhammad had told his followers, whenever you don't understand something and you don't find it, you have to go back to ask Ahl al-Kitab, the people books, because they know.
Which means Jews and Christians, al-Kitab.
Yes, this Ahl al-Kitab. So if the Bible has, if the Quran has mentioned those who are Ahl al-Kitab, which means he was not found to eliminate them. They are a reference for you, not to eliminate them.
So what you're saying is basically that while there's a part of the Quran that says about the rocks, that when the rocks will tell to kill the Jews, it also means that you cannot kill the Jews until the rocks say so, and maybe you can interpret it as some sort of allegory, as they say, you shouldn't kill them. If I would want you to kill them, I would have the rocks tell you that. So something that is...
First of all, you have to wait to hear it from the rocks. Second, you don't know when this will be.
Yes, so it's like saying to someone another Arabic phrase, "Ruch balt el bacher,"
Yes.
go tile the sea, which doesn't mean that. It means that it's wait to further instruction. Don't do it.
So why you are busy now? You invest a lot of it now.
You are not
because
told.
it wasn't happened in 1,400 years ago. So why we wait another 100 days? We cannot wait 100 days. As soon as it comes, it comes. But why I prepare, which means, well, there's another say, why you have to bandage your head before you take the heat. Actually, now we try to put bandages on our head and still waiting the hammer that knock our heads.
Yes.
Stupid.
And I would like to get back to the point of the nasikh or mansukh. So basically what you're saying is that the chapters or the sentences in the Quran that says, first of all, that says, if you don't know, ask the people of the book. And another one that says, argue with the people of the book only in the most gentle way.
وجادلوهم بالتي هي أحسن.
Yes. So it contradicts this idea that Muslims should kill Jews. That's what you're saying.
Also, there is a lot of example. For example, in the old lives, if a feminine woman inside a tent, a stranger cannot visit her. By certain hadith and something like that, they tell if she can milk him, he become like her son or her something.
Not to milk him, to breastfeed him.
Yes, to milk him from her breast.
To let him drink her milk. So to speak.
Yes, from her breast, as it is like her child.
Yes.
Now, in modern life, if you need to apply what was written or what was applied in Quran, either it is nasikh or mansukh, or it is neglected. It is not accepted by nature.
Yes,
So if there is something, even argument that the people, the stupid, no, the bad people have chosen those phrases, they are not applied and not applied in the modern life. Because if in my office, I bring a strange lady as a secretary, this is forbidden by Islam, real Islam. So I have to see her breast and milk it. I think nobody in modern life accept this. So she can be in office with me here in the table. So if we are clever, we can find many good points in the books. We can understand what is the books telling us a wrong issue. And we can say, we can find a lot of common issue. We can find a regulation for us. Even you can see in the modern life, you can see now what happened in America and what happens in Ukraine, Serbia, those. Modern life, we were before telling, yes, America is the most modern democratic state. All of our lives. Until we see recently a lot of crowded people has occupied the White House and the governmental issues in a savage way. So, what I can say about democratic here? You see in parliament, they shoot each other, they throw each other, they shoot each other, they gun each other, some parliament issue. So there is no specific real democratic or real religion. You need something common that bring you the minimum that you can stay stable and equal and fair. But if you asking a 100% issue, this is not our job. We are people, we are human. This is the God who are perfect.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to go to the point where our book, Unity of the Believers, where it starts, because it starts in a specific point where both of us received the video from East Jerusalem, and both of us thought to each other, wow, this really means something. So let's first of all, let's see this video. Some of the people who follow our channel have already seen it, but we'll do it again.
Really, we met in several issues there, and many hints that give us an inspiration to understand each other. And it needs open-minded people to see, to understand, to inspect, to trust. No extreme people can allow such understanding, mutual understanding, because you have to be a human first and to forget all the other past bad experience that you get or information you get. Second, you have to think what other side needs. If you are a selfish, just looking for your interest, the other side start to tell you, I need something, and you are neglecting him. He start to throw you stones, then he knives, then rockets, then he break your fences, and he comes to your house. So if my neighbor is happy, for sure I will be happy.
Yes. Okay, so let's see the video of the ultra-Orthodox man who went inside the mosque of the Hamza Mosque in בצפאפא.
بابا انت شمال عمر دخل هنا لو بابا بده يصلي هنا ايش كان بده يطلع لو بابا انت مستحيل انت لو رتسلت انت لو رتسلت تجيب انت لا جيبك مسلمين از ما مسلمين يلا تسيب اخوت انا كمان اخبس פה תתפלל בחוץ.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So when you see this video, what did you think?
I think that I trust my way started to be born, and the people are trusting my ways, and they understand it. If this good person went to the Temple Mount Mosque, there will be a problem. So he chose a neighborhood in Bethsafafa mosque, which means a low level of tension. But they understand this is a risk for them, so they don't allow him. Because if by nature this happened in Bethsafafa mosque, that will be applied for the Temple Mount mosque. So they don't know what to do unless to expel him out. But I was happy because I see a practical issue of my vision, my mission, my initiative are applied in somewhere. And a real religious Jew, he tell, yeah, I am a Jew. This is the place for God. I need to pray to my God, to my Creator. Are this the place for God or not? I am respecting here. I take off my shoes as a Muslim. I have my custom as a Jew, but I need to pray. Why you are not allow me? So they tell him, this is for Muslims. She asks him, what is Muslims? So they cannot define what is Muslim. If they are clever, they don't tell him this is for Muslim. They tell him this is for the citizen of Bet Safafa municipality. Or it is written in your identity, you are a resident of Bet Safafa.
But maybe if they are more clever, I'm asking you, okay? Maybe if they are more clever, they would tell him, okay, go in and pray with us.
They are not clever enough, and they are afraid. If they let him, they make mistake. If they let him out, they take mistake. So they take the أسوأ الأمور, is which mean أحسن الأمور أسوأها. So they choose that he come back from zero outside, rather to jump in the risk. But if there was a preparation now for a young or wise people who are thinking in a certain accident or a certain event or a certain position, something like that, they have to welcome him as Prophet Muhammad had done with the Christians. And the Christians in Najran, they were practicing the Christian worship in the mosque. So there is no problem if the Jews are practicing their own way of worship in the mosque. Equal and even no, there is a certain issues are equal in both Jewish and Muslims as a movement and respectable, because taking shoes was before in when we see the Holy Land comes, he tell him, take your shoes off, which means it is a Jewish custom, not a Muslim custom.
So, okay, so basically everything is combined, that's what you're saying. And if everything is combined, then there's no reason to fight about it.
We have to find the real cause which hide the people under the religious cover. If we take the religious cover, we see what you need. Money, we can give it to you. You need sons, we will bring you 4 women. You need gold, we can give you gold. You need wealth, we can give you wealth. You need power, we can give you power. But in a capitalism way, you have to work, you have to be intelligent, you have to be a good person to win money, not to steal the money from the other or taking lives from the other. So if you give the people all those land interests, nobody uses the religion as a cover.
So, you know, people that are still with us, I think some of them, in that point, they ask themselves, okay, it was very interesting, very surprising. There are a lot of implications for religious, for theology, for those issues. But what is the solution? Because, you know, people all over the world, they think that the solution is supposed to be either a Palestinian state or annexation with something with a map and something with agreement. And our conversation over here about religion and faith is not related, so to speak.
Yes, actually, there is this certain sort of study in university, either anywhere, especially in Egypt, that they let the students study this subject as a major, السياسة والاقتصاد, which mean politics and economics, they are mixed together, which mean we cannot find good economic in a bad political situation, and vice versa. And there is also a relation between religion and the state, and you cannot split it always. And you can see the combination between all those four major clusters: economic, state, religious, politics. For that, you can see that you need a small compromise between those, and you can find the stick from the middle.
الدور وحدك شيء يلا ايش راح تخلص انت؟ واحدة
So, did you
تخلص كل على السريع على السريع كمان ساعة.
So you can understand this compromise, you cannot find a balance between them. You need to find a balance. If you go deeply in one of them, you are extreme in religious. You have to find a certain point that you make a balance between those four major parameters, which means that we have to compromise all the issue in a wise way, which means also mixing politics and economic together. My plan and our mutual plan was related also to the religious issue, which means that we use the terms of old books such Judea, Samaria, Holy Land, Promised Land, and even Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the focal point of all the political issue. If we find a solution for Jerusalem, then it can be cut and pasted and applied and duplicated all over the Middle East also, not just in the region. So by looking in the political wise issue, you can see that there is a major issue of federation and confederation. Federation would mean simply one state with one budget, one currency, one government, one issue. As I mentioned before, that it is a civil war, not a religious war. That means Palestine mother was divided, and in the 48, it is the independent from Palestine, which means Israel take its own self-rule from Palestine. If we agree on that, we can see now that Gaza Strip are asking for a self-rule independent from Palestine. And as Ramallah are always ruling Gaza and making it second step or second type of people.
Neglecting Gaza, you're saying that the Palestinian authority,
Yes,
Ramallah treats Gaza as a second place.
Yes, by position, by budgets, by Gaza, we find the division between the PA and Hamas. If they are equal or some fair, we don't see this there. So it will be impossible to bring PA to rule Gaza. Perhaps you can find Israel can rule Gaza instead than PA. And this is, we see it before, and it was quite working. We don't need that Gaza be ruled or occupied another way by Israel. We have to share Jerusalem with Gaza, with West Bank, and with Israel. And instead of dividing it, take it, the whole share is a one unit for all, with internal regulation by religious issue, not political issues. So you mentioned that there is Arabi, Sunni, Shi'i, divided persons. Many Jewish, Arab 48, 48, 67, there is a big division. But if we have three major clusters, Muslims, Christian, Jews, we can put the people in these three major groups, not against identity. If we try the issue of identity, 1 century quite, and it not work, because everyone has to look and to keep his identity safely. So we have to handle our own identity, to take the Holy Land identity or the Promised Land identity, which is better and bigger and wider. Now you can see that Israel was making mistake in 48 by making either in a wide or clear or a way, the rights for the Jewish people are not equal inside Israel, even it is the same. And the paper, you can see that religious people, they don't go to the war, to the army in Israel, which means it is not equal 100% in Israel. You can see that the Arabs, Israeli in the 48 region are not equal like the people who are in Tel Aviv, in budgets, in neighborhoods, in municipality, villages, something like that. Why was that? when they establish Israel, they think we have a lot of threats, so we give ourselves some more important rights than the others, so we keep our superiority over the others group, and they mistaken in that. Instead, I think they have to say the opposite, which means we are poor, we are the Israeli people, we are the minority, a lot of Muslim Arab countries around us, many people, Muslims are around us, so please protect us, not to kill us. Not we are the army who will be never defeated. So if they pretend themselves that they are poor, perhaps they take the sympathy from the other people, Arab Muslim people, they taking care of them. But they choose, and this comes from Balfour. Actually, Balfour Declaration, I was very inspired by it. And most of the Arab Palestinians and Muslims are against Balfour, while I grateful for it, because most of the people taking the wrong idea about Balfour. They don't even read the small paragraph which is written in it. They don't know. Even very educated people, they don't know it. If you look at it says about homeland, Palestinians, Israeli people, religious rights, political rights. It's all written. Now, if we are going to the rights, in Balfour, it is written that we have to keep the rights, either political or religious, for the Jewish as their original country they come from it, which Balfour had made mistake here. First of all, Balfour had made mistake because he dig in the old books and Torah. He must dig in Quran. Second,
Why? Which part of the Quran? What would he take from the Quran?
Because we need the last updates, not the old updates.
So which part of the Quran are you referring to?
The whole Quran is the updated regulations. So
No.
why I go to the old regulations, which is out of date? Why?
But I think what you were referring to is the Surah Banu Israeli in the Quran, where it says that part of the prophecy of Muhammad that the Jews will return to their homeland towards the end of days.
For sure, this is the part. Yani, so what I mean in this, if we said the Bible is good, the Torah is good, the Quran is good, I have 3 books to refer to them. But Quran have the most common comprehensive part of all those other 2 books.
Including the other 2 religions.
Yes. So I can now taking one reference point is a Quran as a regulation because it includes the other books. If I said go to chapter 16 in the Quran, chapter 15 in the Bible, you are confused. If I am a liar, I cannot work by Jordanian law, by Egyptian law, by Israeli law, Palestinian law. How I can deal? We need one Palestinian law in Palestine.
You're suggesting that Jews shouldn't be afraid of using the Quran as the ground for interpretation because it have all their need, basically.
Yes, and we have to separate between the religious law and civil law. So if we need to regulate the civil laws rights, we have to make a special book or regulation for these. We start to bring Muslims, other people to study, to prepare this guide. And it will cost us too much time and never reach a certain point that all are happy. But why we have to make this? We have a book already founded. This book not made by man, not written by man. It is the God book written, and you cannot change it. A text cannot be edited. And we take the original version and we can use it as a civil regulation for a common, for all, because it regulates a wide range of people without forgetting the Ahl al-Kitab, because it included. Here's the trick. If somebody taking, yeah, we are going to the Quran, yeah, you are bringing me to Muslim. No, in Quran, they bring you to Jewish and they bring you to Christianity
As well.
as well. So the mistake that making Balfour is this. He goes to the original because he needs to see who comes first. Jewish, the Muslims, Arabs, Canaan, he will never end. But he have to bring it back to the updated. Second, his mistake was he don't understand that the Arabs, Palestinians, Muslims have more rights than the others, which mean they can buy land, they can go freely to the mosque, they can have everything, and you have to bring the Jewish equal to the Palestinians, not the opposite what we think.
According to the religion, to the religious law.
To the religious rights.
Yes.
Because now you can see that if you are a Jerusalemite identity person, you are quite freely. Most of the West Bankers are happy and willing to have this identity of Jerusalem because they can travel and benefit a lot from rights from this identity. Because the Israeli government had give rights a lot for those. But if I was the Ben Gurion or any Israeli person, I will give them the Palestinian identity, as what happened with Golda Meir and what happened with Peres and what happened before. They earn the Palestinian nationality, which is bigger and wider, and you can get your rights better if you are just a Jew or Israeli person. If you are a Palestinian, you can buy a land in Bethlehem. You can buy a land everywhere. You can pray in every mosque if you are a Palestinian Muslim, which now they prevent the Jewish people to go. And even if some Palestinian one sell a land for a Jewish one, he will be killed. So we are talking about the rights and privileges. The stupid issue that Hamas has done by 7 October, they misuse their delegation from the people. The people had trusted Hamas to reform Palestine, not to aggressive Israel. So it is misuse of the delegation. Also, when they are trying to exchange the Israeli prisoners, they mistake. They show themselves that they are not being attacked, harmed. They are well dressed, well uniformed, prepared, organized, with weapons, with issues. This is not the reality. But the people, the world see, Hamas was not affected. She is still well prepared and it is existing. If I was also a Hamas leader, I will show myself that I am fully quite surrounded with destroyed uniform without any weapons, and I am give up with the war. This will give sympathy for them, not to allow the whole universe to be against them, and surely now Israel are going to fight Gaza again and never finish, because they are stupid both sides. They pretend opposite what is the reality. If they are honest, the Israelis said, oh, enough, we are tired. We have our own power. We can get a lot of weapons from the Americans. Now Trump is there. He will give us the green light to destroy the whole Gaza. But what is it? This is, you can finish. And if Hamas said, yeah, we are now recalling new soldiers to substitute the ones who killed and rebuild the military again, they are stupid. We, as a wise people, we have to go to those decision makers and tell them what we think, to change their mind in seeing the reality in other way. But I see, as I am in deeply see what is inside Israel, what is inside West Bank, what is inside in Gaza. I see what is the reality, which is not published in the media. Yesterday, the PA, Abbas, has announced he has to reestablish his own deputy, because we don't have a deputy for him. If he finish, we don't know what happens if there is no elections. Now he give us this small drop that he released some sort of his power to go to one who will be nominated by him, not elected by us. So you can see that those three major areas has their own problems, even in Israel, because the Knesset are divided in two instead of three, or in one major part, and polled, a sharp polled issue. You can see that 50% of the Knesset are with, and 50% of the Knesset are with not. And one stupid Knesset member can jump either here and there, and he can decide which group are going to take decision. But if we divide the chairs of the Knesset or other place, not the Knesset, equal place like it, the parliament, for the Holy Land area, we can bring representatives from the three areas, 60 seats for the Israeli people to keep them trust that they are safe, 60 seats are for the Arabs, Palestinians. The 60 are divided for 15 for Gaza, 15 for West Bank, and one big decision making to need something, a national issue, we have it to bring the agreement of 2/3 of the Knesset. So you have to convince the other people and to see what they need. And instead of they try to throwing stones and rockets each other, they can throw shouting, louding voices, paper, perhaps cigarette, trash issue, they shoot each other, but the security of the place, they come and they can take him off, and this will finish. But war never ends. So you can understand my point of view. It is strange. It is the opposite what was done before. It is unique. It is out of the box. It is a strategical, historical, brave initiative.
Definitely. So, first of all, if someone from the audience would like to ask a question or to say something, this is the chance. You can raise your hands or write in the chat, and I will read what you wrote.
I will be happy because I will learn, I will discover, I will see the weakness of my plan so I can amend it. It is not a final one. So I can prepare the defense against what the other people are trying to say, always the same. In a traditional argument, I will prepare the defense as a lawyer, a national lawyer for the Palestinian, Israeli, Muslim, Arab conflict.
Okay, but it seems people are maybe overwhelmed and don't have any questions. Do you have something that you'd like to add?
Actually, I will ask everyone who has the patience to see the whole video of this session to be our ambassador, to spread these ideas in his community. In this way, we are going to reach the whole bottom to change the bottom top issue. And at the same time, we can go back from the top to the bottom to ensure that everyone has agree and will be happy with his share, and his neighbor is happy also. And his neighbor background is green. Everyone sees his neighbor backyard green, while he sees his own place is yellow. Because people, are a person, are human. They are jealous. They are looking for the other. So we don't need to bring him perfectly equal. we need them to be like the physical different shape with water. We pour the water in different shape, but the water are quite the same level, equally. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Amen. Okay, my friend, thank you very much. Everyone that watching us can read the book Unity of Believers, איחוד המאמינים, to get more close with those ideas. And I will see you again very soon.
I will be the president of the whole promised land.
We are
Please
waiting for that.
read my lips. I will be there.
It will be an interesting ride.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, my